Hello, everyone. Today is Monday, December 14th, 2020 at 9:48 a.m. I'm surprised I was able to sleep. Um, but then when one of the maintenance men, me hearing him talking, is what woke me up, and I couldn't go back to sleep. Probably was around 8 something. But so after this video, or I don't know, this might be the only video I do, or I might do a couple of more videos, and then for sure, I promise y'all, I'm gonna go take my dirty ass, go take a bath, well, actually a shower, because I'm not gonna go and soak in the tub right now. I'm gonna just take a shower, and I'm feeling up enough to get to take a shower today, but I'm feeling, my mood is feeling a little better this morning than yesterday, and still not ready to go out in society, out in the public. Um, but I'm gonna have to no later than tomorrow. I don't think I'm gonna go anywhere today. Um, so when I'm on my laptop on this Wi-Fi at this hotel, the way things have been operating, um, if I do like about a 10-minute video, it would take like 2 hours to upload. Excuse me. But for if I do a 3-hour video, it would take like about 3 hours. If I do a 1 hour video, it would take 1 hour. I mean 1 hour. If I do a 2 hour video, it would take about 2 hours on this computer on this Wi-Fi network here. But on my phone, me doing a 30-second video would take about 10 minutes to upload. If I got a 3-minute um, video, then it would take um, an hour to upload. So 30 minutes for it would take like almost 12 hours to upload. Like the video I did late last night, it took the video I did last night. It took well, let me see. It's now almost 10 o'clock. Um, yeah, it just uploaded like an hour ago. Probably about an hour ago. Yeah. So as far as I know, it's been 2 weeks, and I'm still um indefinitely and unknowingly. I mean, I don't know how long I'm suspended on the other channel. Um, so stars 15K, trying to get my channel taken down, and her bullying me. Um, it seems like I'm gonna say it. My twin sister has her minions, well, her cult followers stalking and follow this channel and watching my videos. My twin sister left me alone for like 3 weeks, and then just Friday she did more videos full of lies. And I tried to not let it get me down. That was one of the main reasons I was feeling down yesterday morning. Because I was on my Candy Grand Prix channel. I was wondering why the hell this. I mean, my subscriber count kept being manipulated between 27 and 28. And so then I saw that stars 15K. Now it looks like she's not subscribed to any one of my channels at the moment. And then she's like, well, she'll keep following me around and stalking and harassing me everywhere. And she's like acting like she was on my twin sister's channel, and you know giving fake support, you know, and saying that oh yeah, and I know Candy will see this and stuff like that, and saying that yeah, y'all, here's an announcement, here's an alert, here's an announcement. Y'all make sure that every time she mentions y'all name in her videos, y'all can report her for violation of privacy, which is illegal and this and that or whatever. Well, stop following and stalking me around. What you're doing is doesn't make any sense for a 59-year-old. So you think you're intelligent and clever, but even YouTube said that, the mere mentioning of your name in my videos is not violation of privacy. You just think you can stalk, harass, and follow and bully people, and then you just don't even want to be exposed. So, I mean, they have more slander and lies on me. And people try to say, oh, just don't pay attention to them. Well, if it's easier to pay attention to if you're not suffering behind them. So if my twin sister, I mean, I didn't even look at the videos, but I just saw the comments. Because, I mean, what's the point of wasting your time on nothing but just listening to falsehoods about yourself? And then I think I said on my other channel that a person had emailed me and said that my twin sister has makes that he can tell in my twin sister's facial expressions that she makes the faces of a liar. So only people who have true discernment will see her game and what she's trying to do. But then they have their smear campaign, and they project everything dirty that they're doing to you. They'll reverse it and lie and say that you're doing it to people. I mean, they're perps, but they lie and say that I stalk, follow, and harass and bully random strangers, random innocent strangers. If you haven't been known me to do this throughout my years and all my life, why all of a sudden I'm college educated? I know I'm not crazy, and I know I'm not dumb. Why the hell would someone with at least a bachelor's degree just wake up one day and decide that they just choose to want to be homeless one day? Or why would a college educated person just all of a sudden decide that they just want to go around and harass random strangers whenever I have my own place, like me being here, I go most days like as much as a week without leaving the hotel room. But when I have my own apartment, house, or whatever for rent and under Section 8 and stuff like that, or any other apartment, even outside, whenever I have a permanent place to live or my own place, well, here I have to renew more days, and I have just enough money until the 21st. And, this week is supposed to be cold and rainy throughout the week. So, the people, I'm going to say it again, the people who have supported me, thanks so much. So, they think, they have their smear campaigns and their lies made up, saying, oh, that she just chooses to be homeless on purpose so that everyone can, so she can get people to feel pity for her, or she can get people to feel sorry for her. No, you bastards want me to sell out. Y'all want me to sell my soul like y'all did. Y'all the ones who are spiritually lost. In these days, You know, it seems like, I guess, stalking and spying on your neighbor, that's not love thy neighbor. Stalking and spying on your neighbor comes in gang stalking, comes with the component of selling your soul. And I guess you want to keep tabs on another person, make sure they're following the program. I don't even care anymore. You know, I never gang stalked anybody, and I never got paid to do evil. I never got compensated or rewarded. I never a day in my life got financial compensation or any other compensation for doing evil or wicked to somebody. So it's like, I hate being forced against my will, to keep my mouth shut and keep quiet. And some people might be like, well, why don't y'all two just um discuss this over the phone? Why y'all got a feud over the internet and this and that? We're in different cities and states. And when my twin sister and the gay brother Mark or any other family member, even foster family member, they when they can't get the control that they want out of me, they'll make jail threats, or they'll make threats to have me locked up in a mental institution. Even if they started the argument or the fight, and then they reverse it on me and blame it on me and lie on me and falsely accuse me, saying that I'm the one who started it. When, say for example, if a family member would use Aaliyah to perp me, and I'm like, I don't follow Aaliyah's music anymore. I don't even listen to her, really her music, or I don't watch her movies or anything like that anymore. So I don't. I mean, wow, the last time I watched Queen of the Dam was like 2011, and I don't care or desire to sit down and watch that actual movie again. I didn't realize it was demonic. I thought it was just simply pure entertainment. And a lot of people have. Romeo Must Die. You know, it's been a while. I mean, I think about that time too. And that's the last times I recall or remember watching those movies, but I may have watched them in 2012, 2013, 2014, but I just don't remember. Um, so, I mean, that's what the argument that I got into with drunk lady Yvonne, my aunt Yvonne, um, when my cousin, retarded drunk dude, Daryl Jr., um, he was one of the last family members to have any respect for me, and then he got hateful and turned against me in 2015. You know, when that retard Ramona was trying to get money out of me, she wanted to try to use and take advantage of me. I wasn't on those psych medications no more, and I stood up to her, and she couldn't take the heat, so she had her and her daughter ganged up on me and bullied me, and you know, it's like they think they have that authority to make it like I deserve to be just blacklisted from the family. Um and then they rather the family members do substitutes, like have friends of the family take my place, more like at certain events, more like, damn, I should have been there, or I was supposed to be there at that party or that wedding or this or that or whatever event, you know um and they even want me isolated to not even be on good terms with another family member. I'm not allowed to be close with not one other family member. That they all huddle together against me. And you know, even the biological brother Sean is one of them now. you know, but if they would say that Sean and Do and even me are too retarded, you know, to be used by the devil or God or anything like that, we just that retarded. But like how you call me, I'm disabled, but how you call me mentally slow and retarded with a bachelor's degree? And without the crisis, the manufactured perping and abuse and crisis in my life, I could have been, had higher GPA in college and high school, and I could have, and I could have, been more successful, but they manufacture certain situations to stall and hinder, you know, my good grades on an exam or a test, on purpose. Wait till the day before the exam to create a crisis. Like wait till midterms and finals to create a crisis on purpose to set me up to have a panic attack and then fail, and then they think that shit is funny. Um, so, and I thought it was just a personal attack because they thought I was quote unquote retarded and mentally slow. But back to what I was saying, my cousin Do, it was, yeah, it was Saturday, October 13th, 2018. And I had just got back from Los Angeles after the Grand Canyon job. And I think I did do a video talking about my experiences with the Grand Canyon. That was nothing but perps. And you want to know something crazy? They had this Freemason white man and his wife at the Grand Canyon, and they drove like a red Toyota Camry, and but the guy wanted to be cool as hell with me though, but everybody else was perping me, or they had a couple of nice people, but towards the end, I only was able to stay there 11 days. And then, they said because I was trying as best as I can to stay committed, but they perked me too bad. And I didn't know I was being gang stalked at the time. And I was wondering why everybody treated me so mean and why they hated me before getting to know who I am. And 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 so I was also suffering sleep deprivation in a place like the Grand Canyon that's considered remote. I was still had to deal with the sleep deprivation and the vibrating, and that place is remote, where I hardly even much got internet access. They would have moments where I would, be away from my phone and still feeling the vibrating. Even on a laptop, it's still like very shitty internet access. You know, so after I after I had to leave the Grand Canyon, I could have gone back to New Orleans, but I wanted to treat myself and just, re-experience Los Angeles again. And but I had to sleep homeless on the streets though. And plus, you know, I wasn't trying to move back to Los Angeles, but I went to try to go visit because I also it wasn't more like about Los Angeles, but I wanted to, re-experience Los Angeles and Oceanside and San Clemente um, and San Diego, and I wanted to go visit the Price Pottinger Nutrition, um, you know, place, because when I went when I was living in Los Angeles from 2012 to 2016, it was 2000, the end of 2015. That was the day I was an illegal American in Mexico for 1 hour. So, and they love, like in Los Angeles, like once people cross the border, well, that's a different video. But once people cross the border, they get big headed and arrogant, and think they're superior or think they're better than you, and they're fake. But in Mexico, like um Tijuana, Mexico, they loved me and didn't want me to leave. And they looked out for me and they cared for me. They cared about me. It was nothing like LA. Nothing. And only you might find two Mexicans that's like down to earth and will support you and be friendly. But mostly the people of Mexican descent in Los Angeles, and sometimes the people from El Salvador can be even more cruel. But I got along a little bit better with people from El Salvador than Mexico. Um, Overall, people from El Salvador seem nicer than. But then when you do get somebody wants to be, I mean, from El Salvador that wants to be mean, I get it worse than worse than from the Mexicans. So well well it was 2000. I mean October 13, 2018, when my cousin Daryl Jr. he started to try to play Aaliyah's Back and Forth on purpose just to make me mad, and then started blaring it really loud. And you know, they don't care, but they know that I have hypersensitive ears, and loud noise hurts my ears and stuff. So, he was acting a certain kind of weird and perping me since 2015. He never, like, dude was the type of person that's supposed to be quiet and mind his business and don't bother nobody. And so, the fact that, I just got in town, I was freaking tired. I rode the Amtrak. I finally got my money and went through just so fucking much. Like in Los Angeles, I mean, I didn't even mean to stay in LA for that long, but I was in Santa Monica at the beach, and I think that might be a whole different video just to talk about my experiences of, somebody stole all my belongings, everything except left my clothes, but they took my whole book bag. They took everything, and the police didn't want to do anything about it. And wow, that's a whole nother video for me to just talk about that experience, about what happened. I mean, it makes my heart feel heavy and hurt just to think about it. Just to think about, what happened. Um, but I'll just say all my stuff got stolen, and I was devastated. I had never really had anybody steal all my identification. I was targeted before then, but I had never had anybody steal all of my identification, my social security card, and just I never had that happen before, ever. And I lived in Los Angeles 4.5 years, LA metro area. Because I lived in, I stayed at that transitional housing for a couple of months in Long Beach. So I had my own place from 2012 to 2016, but I've been living in LA, since 2011, July 28, 2011. So it's like I was already, going through so much, and no, I think yeah, because earlier I went to see that lady that's related to my cousin Blake and Hor Rebecca and all them on their dad's side of the family. Um, their dad, retarded drunk Daryl, who's now deceased. You know, he had a cousin named. Well, I don't want to say her full name, but I'll just say, she wanted me to refer to her as Auntie Jane. Because remember, I said that New Orleans people, New Orleans people, instead of saying aunt, they say auntie. Not auntie, but in New Orleans they say aunt, your auntie, or your T, like Tee, like but some people would be like your auntie, your aunt, or your aunt, your auntie, or whatever. So the lady was my aunt's husband's cousin. So she wanted me to refer to her as Auntie Jane. So that I went to go visit Auntie Jane's house. It was after dark, um, and I was to be back homeless on the streets. But I was just I figured, well, shucks, I'm on the streets. I ain't got nowhere else to go. Um, and I'm bored. So I didn't want to go. I wasn't trying to go spend the night by her house or nothing like that. I just went to visit because I was bored, and also you know damn, me not realizing, yeah, that's a dang, yeah, that was a Saint Bernard and Broad area. That neighborhood, the Seventh Ward. That's where my family lived at, and it's where Blake got shot and killed. But it wasn't that late at night though. But I mean, I can't believe after Blake got shot and killed, even I had, been at my aunt's house, Yvonne, since that happened, because I wasn't there when Blake got shot and killed. I was living in Greenville, South Carolina at the time. So so I can't believe I had the balls and the guts to, you know, go in that area. So I mean, I went by the Jane lady's house just to visit for a few minutes, not that long. And she suggested that I go see my Aunt Yvonne because outsiders, you know, they don't know what our twisted ass family history is, and the way the family dynamics and the way we get along and everything. Um, the family likes to put on an image that everybody's all close and everybody get along and stuff like that. And then when they found out the truth that me and the biological sister Ramona ain't really that close or whatever, that's when they can get their smear campaigns and lies and turn even friends of the family against us. The friends of the family who previously thought that we all were close and got along. But not one person is there to be like, Ramona, regardless of what you feel about your sister, you still better love. But when I spoke the truth about certain wicked family members, they would tell me stuff like that. that no matter what, or even the biological mom Frances, or even the foster mom, doesn't matter what wicked stuff that they done to me, I still supposed to love and respect them anyway. And I'm supposed to, honor your parents, or whatever. But the fake IDMR cult they didn't really talk much about honoring your parents, or I don't recall them saying, all they care about this is this so-called man's teachings, you know. So I mean, I didn't realize the importance of honoring your parents until after the biological mom Frances had passed away. But I did try to reach out to her and try to make a truce before she died, and I didn't get to do that. And um, I wonder what would it have been like if I did get to, but other siblings, blocking me from contacting her when I tried to reach out to her and try to make a truce and apologize, and being like, I didn't realize that, that they had us brainwashed and manipulated to hate our biological mom so much. Yet you feel the same. The foster mom, she felt the same way about me. That me and the biological mom, Frances, that we're so crazy. You know. So they brainwashed me to hate and disrespect her. And I mean, I even tried to reach out to the biological mom, Frances, and wanted to apologize, for the meanness, the things that I've done, even though she was perping me too, but I wasn't perping her, but I treated her mean, um, because the foster mom, you know, brainwashing me to think that. I mean, her biggest attack was against the biological mom, Frances, for whatever reason. She didn't really attack Arthur like that. The main attack was against Frances. So, the foster mom created a smear campaign saying that the biological mom, Frances, and the biological sisters, Belinda, and Belinda was living in Milwaukee. But she lied and said that that the biological, well, I don't know. Some people say it's true, some people say it's false, saying that the biological mom Frances was a crackhead or she was a drug addict. But she wasn't on drugs after we after we turned 18. I don't know. She would drink daiquiris, or she wasn't even really an alcoholic. But every now and then she'll have a daiquiri. And a daiquiri is a New Orleans alcoholic slushy drink or whatever. So um and every now and then the biological mom Frances would smoke weed, but she wasn't you know she wasn't really an alcoholic, or she wasn't really on drugs when we got in her care. But I mean, well, we never were in her care. I'm sorry. After we turned 18, um after we turned 18, the biological mom Frances wasn't on drugs or anything like that. So the foster mom had the smear campaign, saying that the biological mom Frances was on drugs, and that the biological mom Frances, the biological sister Belinda, and the biological sister Ramona, that they were all prostitutes. So the foster mom would use it against me and throw it in my face, saying, "You're gonna grow up to be a prostitute just like your mom." And I'm like, how the hell you tell an underage person that, um, but the foster mom would act like she's super sexually repressive. Um, but this is the same woman who's married and remarried, divorced and remarried like 4 times. Um, but you're in a cult and you don't even preach the Bible, but at your own convenience, you'll try to you'll try to throw that try to throw the Bible in my face, saying the Bible says you're supposed to put your husband before the rest of your family. Well, bitch, like why if the Bible says that, then why the hell you have your multiple husbands? I mean, you divorce and remarry, so many men, and you act like a man yourself. And the last husband, she had him sleeping on a couch downstairs. So how you gonna say? I mean, she didn't honor her husband. She was the one who wore the pants in the house. She even boss controlled and overruled Al. You know, so it's like, I know I went off topic, but it was the last time I saw or heard from drunk lady Yvonne, my aunt Yvonne, when the Jane lady suggested I go by her. I'm like, nah, I don't want to go over there, or I said, and then lo and behold, I got over there. Yvonne was drunk as fuck. Like, she was so drunk. And dude started to try to blast Aaliyah's music, and I was tired. And I only went over there because she insisted that I go over there when I didn't want to. And I felt like I didn't want to depend on any family members. If I'm supposed to be out there on the streets, and they don't care, they'll leave me out on the streets, but they'll perp me and pick an argument with me and then reverse it on me and lie and say that I came there just for trouble. No, the mere existence of the presence of my face, my existence and my presence, it's starting trouble with y'all. So then Yvonne had no reason to say anything bad about me. But the fact that I came over there and my hair was damaged, so it was all cut off, and like it's damaged dry and damaged right now, from thanks fucking coronavirus, fake ass COVID-19. But I mean, my OCD, I clean everything I touch anyway, long before coronavirus. So Yvonne got mad because she didn't approve of my hair, and she just started saying a whole bunch of bad stuff about me. And then she's like, come here, like, and I said, look, lady, I said, I never got into an argument with you. I mean, she just started going off on me for no reason at all. And I said, look, I never got into an argument with you. I never disrespected you. And then next thing you know, she just that instantly, she was super drunk now. She made a threat. She started cussing me out and calling me all kinds of bitches and hoes, and got gangster and ghetto and ignorant and retarded on me. So then she instantly made a threat to made jail threats and made threats to have me locked up in a mental institution. She was drunk as fuck. She was the one who needed to be have something done to her. So me and her got into that heated argument. And the only time in my life, because I can pretty much count on my hands how many times I've seen her or visited her. Not all that many times. I'm pretty sure it was under I'm pretty sure it was under 30 times that I've seen this woman throughout my life. I have not visited her or, spent so much time with her that much. Even like 2017, I tried, and it's like they made it like as if, my presence was not, and even the biological system, Ramona, they ignore me and, treat me mean and making like as if my presence is not welcome. They have their minds made up about me. before getting to know the real Candy. I mean, it would be nice if, you know, but they started with their meanness and abusiveness first. So people might be like, well, you think Monica and Rebecca gonna wanna sit down and be friends with you after you call Monica hellface ugly and you call Rebecca a whore and all that? But what about the names that they freaking call me? They call me retarded day in and day out. So, why don't I have a right to want to stay distance from them? So they all hate me and have zero respect for me based on lies and slander. And when Blake was alive, and I mean, I can count on count how many times I've seen Blake too. Well, I haven't seen Blake that many times, and the biological younger brother Derek, I can count on my hands how many times it's like as if I'm clearly no relation to them. Like, I never got to have Derek's phone number. Never in my life. Whatever phone number he had, I never got to have his phone number. Me, and this is the youngest one, because me and my twin sister, we the second to youngest. And I know the fact that, the stuff I talk about, even if I don't talk about targeting, I never really talked to my family completely about targeting. Never had a conversation with them about, my gang stalking and stuff like that. But they know they perping me. They know. Because they wouldn't try to push mental health down my throat. So, anyway, that night when me and my Aunt Yvonne got into that argument, and everything just happened so fast. And she called herself trying to, show me the door. And then her son, my cousin Du, acting like he was trying to put his hands on me. So, my nephew Raymond was sitting down outside in the car for hours for a long ass time. And then Raymond took me over by that retard Ramona's house, and Sean was there. And like driving in the car, Raymond was trying to, when he asked me what was going on, with myself, and then he ignorantly laughed and be like, "Ha, no wonder you and Brandy always getting raped. Y'all always posting stuff on Craigslist, huh? Whatever." And so I nearly want. I know I would have lost the beating. I would have lost the fight, but I wanted to punch the fuck out of him so bad that, you're that cold towards and disrespectful towards your own aunt. But then he tried to bully, harass, and lecture me, telling me I should never argue with a drunk person. And he said, "I used to do security, you heard me? And this and that, motherfucker, you just," and he told me I should have kept my mouth. Him and that retard Ramona try to condemn me, saying that I shouldn't have said anything. I should have kept my mouth shut or whatever. I'm like, y'all argue with people. And then how Raymond hypocritically told me that, but then him and Ramona were arguing that night. So they were arguing that night, and that retard Ramona will scream through the top of her lungs, going off. No peace in the family at all. Everybody's at everybody's throat. But I'm the only one who should be eliminated and ostracized, while, they can have a total beat down and throwdown. And shucks, Raymond can shoot Ramona in the heart. And if she survived, she'll forgive him 5 minutes later. Or, if, say, for example, my brother Pete can bust Yvonne upside the head with a glass bottle. Oh yeah, 5 minutes later, they're back friends again. That's how, like, they forgive each other, and but even before I started, doing these YouTube, it's been solidified even before 2005 that I am to be hated and eliminated and discarded by the family. based on my twin sister's lying and saying I did this and that and did that to her kids. And she's part of that network and a part of the program. I have a right to speak out and speak the truth. You know, so if she can continue her videos, how come, you know, and she got, I've seen her getting like 7 thumbs up and no thumbs down, and all her minions come and stalk and watch my channel. Like I'm gonna say it, the fake Tamika Evans bitch, the fake Muslim dyke. Uh, like if you feel like I'm a crazy hot mess and all I do is complain and beg, so now she try to say, oh, all she does is call people whores and illegals. But why the fuck are you watching my channel? Nobody told you to come on this channel and subscribe. So, all y'all have y'all spot in hell for gang stalking people, for gang stalking and perping God's children. Because you Muslim, you automatically work for the devil. And that's a fact. Prophet Muhammad, the false prophet Muhammad, was a freaking pedophile rapist. Y'all knew that? So, they'll say truth is hate speech. So, the next day, Ramona picked the argument with me, trying to copy off of Yvonne. And me and her got into a near all-out fist fight. And, I was so stressed out, after all that I went through in Los Angeles and then come back to New Orleans and y'all perping me already. Ramona is stone cold and don't give a damn. Excuse me, but a lot of the families like that, And Ramona would be like, Yvonne has a dark heart. Both of y'all have a dark heart or soulless. So it seemed like Yvonne drunk her soul away with alcohol. And, that retard Ramona, she scammed her soul away with worshiping Harris Casino, steal other people's money and go gamble it up. But, I had a Tourette's outburst so bad, and I was sleep deprived and already had been through under so much pressure that Sean was me and Sean, I guess, were having a bad moment. And Ramona defended him and wanted to kick me out, and then wanted to protect the man, the guy, Sean, and then throw your sister out cold on the streets. So I got mad, and when Ramona, she physically abused and beat up on me and put bruises on me in 2015, and nobody said she was wrong. So, when I didn't have a premeditated intent to kick Sean, but, I was, having just going through so much, and so I, impulsively kicked Sean in the leg, and Sean was like, she kicked me! And then Ramona come out and try to say, why you kick that boy? But it's okay for you to be intentionally and premeditated intent to be violent. And, I'm not in general a violent person, but after all my stuff got stolen, me being trapped in LA, the Grand Canyon didn't work out, me being back homeless again, I was just under so much pressure. And, and then even I think I waited a month or so, and I wrote a letter, a note on the Jane lady. I wrote a note on her door, with a brief moment of me. It was less than 1 page of me talking about, my family being, being abusive and bullying me and stuff and ganging up on me. And the Jane lady, I mean, I have not heard from, I mean, she got hateful and turned against me because she was trying to call me when I was in Santa Monica, or part of Los Angeles, before my phone got stolen, you know. So that was one of the reasons why I went to try to go um, visit her, because I think at that time I didn't have a phone anymore. Yeah, I didn't have my own phone, and yeah, I'm trying to remember. I don't even remember when I guess wow, how did I survive all that being homeless on the streets with no phone? Because at the all my stuff got stolen. So then they had the when I was at the Marriott at 555 Canal Street downtown, and they had the head of security, a narcissistic abuser named Tyrone Nabor, Nabor, was his last name. And I mean, all I tried to do was use the bathroom, and they had an African-looking guy who, I mean, I went to go use the bathroom, and because they would let me use the bathroom all the time because I had no place to or any other hotels, and it seemed like it was hard to get a hotel downtown just to use the public bathroom. And usually during the day, they didn't let anybody use the bathroom, especially. But at nighttime, I didn't really have any place to use the bathroom. They make things more secure at night. And even at certain, like at the Sheraton across from the Marriott, you know, they kicked me out of there. Like there was a, it was one of the employees was nice enough. She said that, you know, you can make yourself at home, feel welcome. You can come and use the bathroom anytime. And then they had this brand new white security guard. He was an abusive bully perp who would not let me use the bathroom. And then they had this black guy who was younger than me and tried to bully, harass, and lecture me about there are 6 cameras watching you. And I just went to use the bathroom, you know, and they let me use the bathroom. I will always ask for permission first. I don't just straight go use the bathroom. So they didn't tell me what I did wrong, but they say there are 6 cameras watching you. Why 6? Why you use that number 6? But you're lying about how many cameras there really are. You just want to use an occult number or an Illuminati kind of number. You know, 6 cameras watching you. And I told that guy to his face, you a sellout. You know, and he acting like it didn't faze him. You know, I say you sold your soul to the devil. And that Tyrone Nabor guy, he tried to have psychological and mental sessions with me. And he didn't know what was going on, but he tried to just automatically, he acted like a know-it-all narcissist, you know, and he tried to bully, harass, and lecture me, and then try to tell me that, oh yeah, you burned your bridges from your family. That's why you're not allowed anywhere. But that's why none of them want. Like, how do you know that? You can't just look at a random stranger and you know. And then it was later on that day I went to try to use the bathroom there, and that same, I mean, it was a female security guard that tried to say I know bullshit when I see it, you know, because they try to question me and making like I got some explaining to do. They like, how the hell you got a college degree? And this was before I found out for sure that I was targeted. And they're like, how you got a college degree and you homeless on the streets and can't get a job nowhere? I smell bullshit, you know. So or they say, oh, something don't add up. But you know, I've been blackballed, blacklisted. I had to deal with severe workplace mobbing, like workplace mobbing at the Grand Canyon. That occult number 11. That you know, I was only able to stay there 11 days and then had to leave. So that was strategic and done on purpose. That I only lasted 11 days at the Grand Canyon. And guess what day I ended up being forced to leave? On the 18th, September 18th, 2018. I think that was my last day working there. And then I had to go to St. George, Utah. Then I had to go to because I started on the September 7th, I think it was, because it was right after Labor Day. Then I had to go to St. George, Utah. Then I had to go to Las Vegas. Because I think the St. George shuttle sent me. Yeah, because I remember that shuttle driver was extra rude as fuck towards me only, but he was all smiles and nice and friendly towards everyone else. You know, so then it's like I ended up going to Las Vegas. Las Vegas, I can't live in Las Vegas. I've been to New York City. I've been to lived in New York City and LA, but I almost couldn't survive a day in Las Vegas. People in Las Vegas will threaten your life just for asking for directions and where things are. Like people in New York or LA would just get rude with you or get an attitude, but people in Las Vegas will try to kill you. Like what the fuck is wrong with everybody? Damn. Like I can't even ask where this place or where is this laundromat or where is this, where's the main bus terminal or whatever. You know, I mean Las Vegas, you know, I not always want to go, but I figure it would be nice if I can, because I like to travel and sightsee and see things or whatever. But me being like like after dealing with the Grand Canyon, like and before I went to the Grand Canyon, I had to go to Las Vegas and then get a shuttle to the St. George, Utah, and then they pick me up and take me to the Grand Canyon in Arizona, North like Grand Canyon North Rim, Arizona. So I'm glad maybe God must have taken me out of the Grand Canyon because everybody talking about how beautiful it was. But to be honest, I got sick and tired of everything looked the same. Everything looked the same, and I had like all those Grand Canyon pictures and videos and stuff I had stolen. So you know, I was shocked. I was hurt. I was so hurt. You, you know. So I mean, I was kind of slimmer. My hair was longer and stuff like that. I was looking good. For once. I was actually looking good. Um, so I was under 200 pounds, and so at the Grand Canyon, I just well, my hair wasn't like that long, but it was kind of longer, and I was looking kind of good, because usually I don't get to look good. So you know, all the Grand Canyon, and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, I forgot what else I was gonna say, but everything looks the same, and I think God must have taken me out of there because I heard that at national parks people turn up missing or dead, or they had a man who was drunk as hell, and he nearly fell off one of the Grand Canyons. I mean, one of the he nearly fell off the walking trail. I'm sorry if my mind ain't uh, functional right now, but he nearly fell off the walking trail, and then I think it was two guys and a female, and then they were all drinking, and then they were talking. The female cried, and the other guy was like, "Why? I don't understand why is she being so melodramatic and crying and stuff like that." And I'm like, the guy, he nearly fell off the walking trail, but I would try to walk down the steep, narrow walking trails And I didn't realize these were all gang stalking perps. That when I would walk on a walking trail at the Grand Canyon when I was working there, and it seemed like they try to manipulate. I mean, I try to walk as close to the wall as possible, but they try to deliberately and on purpose rush me and try to manipulate me into falling off, like because it was that steep that that reminded me of when I was driving through the Blue Ridge Mountains when I rented the car in South Carolina, and it seemed like they tried to manipulate me into falling off a cliff. Like instead of walking, it was driving, and they try to manipulate me into the cars trying to rush me when the speed limit would be 5 miles per hour, and they would try to speed like like and like how the hell these people are insane, and y'all call me crazy, So God must have been protecting me at those moments, because I mean I know if I die, my family would not give a damn, and they'll be like, well, good, well, because look, you talking shit about everybody. I'm not talking shit about nobody. I'm just, me storytelling my personal experiences, of what I've been through. I know I'm not all that innocent either, but I for one thing, I do not gang stalk. I do not hurt people, and I never molested a child, and that is all. So I had never gotten any emotional support or any closure for what Yvonne did to me. And everybody was quick to take up for and defend her. Because, if I had altercation with siblings or relatives in my apartment or house, they would still say that that person is right. But people would tell me that, oh, you were wrong because you were in her house. But we all family, and you don't I mean, they don't treat other family members like that. Like any other family member, like Yvonne had her mind made up about me and I was blacklisted. She even, I'm their niece and left on the streets, and I'm a female, a single disabled female, but Sean is a single disabled male, and he was older than me. But they felt like Yvonne, I think she just wanted to try to look good by trying to say, well, that's my nephew. I can't leave him out on the street like that. But so that's why she let Sean spend a couple of nights over. But I never was allowed to spend any nights over by Yvonne. And I'm supposed to know not to fix my mouth to even ask such a question. So, and, everybody defended Yvonne and said that, I burned my bridges. And, without even knowing, what was going on, or the truth about what's going on. And I did not know that I was being gang stalked at the time. Well, I had some knowledge about gang stalking, but it just went over my head and I forgot about it. Because I think I first heard about gang stalking could have been like targeted individuals and gang stalking. I think it was like 2011 or 2012 when I first heard about targeted individuals and gang stalking. And because it tied in with the Illuminati and the New World Order. People were saying that they were targeting individuals if they said that they try to live off the grid and they know the truth about the New World Order and stuff. They try to be preppers and stuff. And they said that they became targeted individuals after choosing to homeschool their kids or refusing to feed their kids GMO food or refusing to vaccinate their kids. And then they said they become targeted individuals and stuff like that. So I didn't even really intend on talking about, this topic of what I'm talking about. So it's like, as I said, my twin sister can make as many videos as she wants about me, and nobody's gonna tell her, well, hey, we don't want to hear about it, or hey, why don't y'all discuss this at home, or none of that. And I don't know why my twin sister's, flipping out about me if I'm talking about everybody. And I'm the only one she's singling out. And I'm glad there are a couple of people who realize, the, I mean, seem like even if videos that are not about her that I'm doing, or I'm not talking about her, and she'll make up videos having remarks and comments about me confronting gang stalkers for harassing me, and then her and Stars 15K will huddle to in other, like Tamika Evans and other perps will you know huddle together and lie and say that I stalked, and they're like, exactly, yeah, because she's the one who stalked, follow, and harass everybody, and she's the narcissist and call everybody else a narcissist and this and that, and she's manipulative and she's this and that. I don't even have the skill to manipulate, because if you consider an empath, or if you are considered a, you know, like having Asperger syndrome or autistic, you don't have that skill to manipulate like that. So I originally was gonna hop on this phone. I mean, on this computer. I was originally gonna hop on a computer and let me see something. I originally was gonna hop on a computer and talk about targeted individuals. Okay. I originally was going to talk about, targeted individuals, and, that believe in the, star seeds and indigo child, crystal child, star child, or whatever, and that being new age, and how I almost fell into that trap, you know. So that's a different topic. But that was the first video I was going to do, but it seems like the majority of my subscribers, even on the other channel that's currently, I guess suspended, um, they, or I guess it's an indefinite timeout. I have more people who aren't targeted, and I have more perps and haters than real supporters, because the haters and perps, they have that notification bell, so that they get an alert, and within less than 10 minutes, I already got 3 thumbs down by 3 haters. And, everybody's sitting there applauding and praising my twin sister and her videos full of lies about me. But I'm not allowed to say anything, because if I say something, then she'll make threats to attempt suicide. But why you calling me crazy and saying I need to be locked up in a mental institution, excuse me, or that I need to be committed to the mental institution, while you threatening suicide because I'm speaking out on not just you, but everybody. I've even admitted some of my own faults and mistakes, and I even, confess my sins in prayer, to God, so it's like I don't have a right to have a mouth or a voice, while you can be free to say whatever you want. And it's like I said, I didn't want to keep going back and forth or feuding, because people will say, well, that's not a good look and stuff like that. And, some people say that to save my sanity, don't go back and look on her channel or whatever. But she has, I mean, the fact that her minions, her cult followers, like Tamika, one of her most devoted cult followers, like Tamika Evans and stuff like that, is freaking you know she's sitting there, religiously watching my videos, and then go and report back. I mean, or my twin sister, because I was wondering, why the hell are people who I went to school with, how the fuck they find my YouTube channel? I think, and one lady said, I mean, well, if Alex would have never ran me out of Pensacola and did what he did, I wouldn't have had to felt the emergency need to get back on social media. Um, but yes, social media makes you more depressed. Um, Something about that Facebook though. I mean, because Twitter, I can get a little discouraged and depressed or whatever. But something about that Facebook, fake book, something about Facebook, something about Facebook, something about Facebook, and I'll keep saying something about Facebook just has a witchcraft spell behind it that will manipulate you into wanting to be suicidal. Excuse me, but I gave fake book one last try. I haven't done. I promised myself that I would never get back on social media again for any reason in my life, and I promised that I would never get back on. That I would never. I promised that I would never get back. I mean, ever get an Instagram. And so, but I liked Instagram, but I didn't know it was connected with Facebook. But there were hardly any targeted individuals that I saw on Instagram. Um, and then I was being heavily shadow banned and censored on Instagram and with Facebook. They kept suspending me for, I'm like, well, damn. Other people can post YouTube links and stuff like that, but or post links but if I post a YouTube video, you know, I mean, they just giving targeted individuals false hope um, on the targeted individuals united against the threat, and that was what I thought was one of my favorite groups. But they kept censoring me on there, and I'm like, I mean, and so they're the fake TI perps and agents. I guess they want us to tell them about our targeting experiences, so that they can gain intel on you. That's excuse me. That's what I was told, so they can gain intel on you. So that's how the perps do. The perps think we're ignorant. They think we're stupid and retarded. They think we can't. They think we're too slow they think we're too slow to catch on. And they're expecting and counting on us to be too slow to catch on. And they don't want us to outsmart their game. And it's like I told y'all about Stars 15K coming on my I showed y'all about her that she made sure that video got taken down. But why you waited till later on? You didn't do it right away. But she just frivolously and falsely reporting everything on my other channel. So the mere mention of her name, she tried to say, "Oh, well, y'all make sure." Well, guess what? YouTube said that those videos weren't in violation. Well, some of those videos, weren't in violation. But I'm in the biggest hot water on that channel right now for speaking truth about fake COVID-19. They want to talk about medical misinformation. They're threatened by the truth. So, that's how you know they're devils. When they try to take God's role, but then reverse, do everything reverse. You want to play the role of, that's how Satan operates. You want to take on God's role and think you're higher and better than God himself. And then you punish the righteous and innocent while you reward the wicked. And then you leave the righteous feeling all depressed. And so that's why when the Bible says when the righteous rule, people rejoice, but when the wicked rule, the people mourn. I think that's in Proverbs somewhere. So it's like, I know it's hard to dissect every video and try to explain away every video from, I mean, it will waste too much energy. And I'm talking about mental and emotional energy, not occult, new age, spiritual energy. And it would be too exhausting and draining for me to go and dissect everything and try to have an explanation and try to correct all her lies. My twin sister. But it's not fair that she's doing that she thinks she can gain the upper hand over me while saying all this stuff about me and all these lies about me. And everybody's on her side and defending her to the point of like she's a freaking celebrity or something, or like defending her to the point and worshiping her to the point of idolatry. And only a couple of people, but not that many people, told me that that they can see through my twin sister's schemes. But most people act like they're afraid to defend me and take up for me. But they're not trying to tell her to shut up. They're not trying to tell her to that you're making your family look bad. They're not telling her none of that. But everybody wants to huddle together and ignore me and make it like as if I'm this crazy and an insane person, or I'm the only one who should keep my mouth shut. While she can have freedom of speech, but I'm not allowed to have freedom of speech and say the truth about what's going on. Like my twin sister wasn't even there, but I saw a comment on one of her videos where she lied on me and said that what did she say? Yeah, she lied and said that quite a few times. Lied on me and said that I looked over Blake's casket and said, "I'm glad that you're dead." And I never said that. And she was not even at the funeral. So just making up stuff. So because I mean that didn't even cross my mind because I was traumatized and fucking freaked out. And didn't know how to act. With Blake getting shot and killed, and I almost got killed. So I don't know. It's like she must be using that witchcraft or that voodoo to get people to believe her lies and stuff. Because how the hell would I have any flying monkeys? People ain't listening to me. People ain't listening to the truth, but they want to gravitate towards the lies. And that same guy who his name is J.E., who wanted to get T-shirts for my twin sister saying "tell it like it is" or the truth or whatever. He was supposed to be targeted, but now he's acting like a perp. So I saw him commenting on other people's channel or on their videos like as if he's a targeted individual as well. So it's like it's just not fucking fair that she tried to manipulate me into silence by threatening suicide. I mean, even though I don't want her to go and do that to herself, but it's like I don't have a right to clarify, the lies that are being made about me, or I don't have a right to defend myself against her, lies. And so, words do hurt, and the tongue that even the Bible says that the tongue is powerful. But people like to say that, words don't hurt. Yes, they do. Um, and Stars 15K falsely accused me of threatening suicide by saying, "Oh, I'm sick and tired of her whole subliminal threats about being suicidal and stuff," which was not true. When I say, you know, when people try to say words don't hurt, and the Bible says yes, words do hurt, and yes, words can kill, meaning that if somebody lie on you and falsely accuse you of something, and then their supporters will come and can take your life. It happens every day, all the time. If somebody was falsely accused of doing or saying something bad and don't have a chance at defending themselves, I mean, people have been going to jail and prison, or been beat up, or had their life all out taken behind lies. And that's what I mean by when people say words can kill. you know um so it's like I'm just airing out my feelings about you know what's going on. I mean, it's not like I'm just singling out one person. So she tried to silence me and try to make me be quiet by threatening suicide, and making like she tried suicide and had meltdowns or whatever. Um, but it's like I don't even know what dark stuff my twin sister is involved in. But quite a few people say, yeah, she sold out, and they said she sold out a long time ago. Candy, I'm sorry to tell you. So it's like, because I was wondering, Stars 15K, she would do that, keep, and there was a few other perps who did that too, like a fake TI perp that calls herself Tiffany Escada, and she said her real name is Stephanie Grant, and looking on her Instagram, I mean, she tried to be fake friendly at one point because they claim to be targeted falsely. They're fake TI perps, and she was associated with that Lonnie Ellison person that was a fake TI perp as well. And the Just Me person, she used to do a lot of videos, but now she'll pop in here and there and do videos. And Lonnie was like, yeah, Candy Channel always focus on people telling her what to do. I like your channel. I prefer your channel, or something like that. And so, you know, as I said, it's okay for everybody else to talk about their targeting. The fake TI perps, they holler and cry worse than us real ones. And then they try to make like their situation is the worst. And, they just spewing out nothing but lies, and nobody questions them because they already have a cult following, and they have a cult following, and you're not allowed to speak out against the big names in the so-called TI community. And that's why I don't freaking even really like to go into the lives or the chats or whatever, because like for the first time in a long time, I've been into a chat, and yesterday evening, and I don't want to go into detail, but remember I told y'all Stars 15K wants to be Brian too so bad, and on one of her other alternative Twitter channels, she has Twitter accounts, she has at least two of them. And one of them, she tried to falsely say that she's a TI and a researcher and a writer. I'm a targeted individual and a researcher and a writer, and Stars 15K is not being targeted. I should call her Shits Yup Teen K. So as I said, if you truly dying of cancer, why spend your if you're 59 years old, you ought to be more you I just can't comprehend. And you compare me to a child saying I need to grow up. That oh, Candy acts like a petulant child, but is too big to spank. It's you're the one who need to, and you will get your eternal ass whooping it in when you burn in hell for eternity. You can't say I act like a child when you're 59 years old bullying strangers. Like, if you're in Fort Wayne, Indiana, you don't need to, I mean, you should have nothing to do with me. I mean, and all these people and my twin sister, they're all worshiping and defending each other against me. But, like, you have this so much more love for online strangers. And, like, it's not like y'all gonna talk, like, they're not talking on the phone with each other. Tamika Evans will never meet my twin sister in person. Or y'all can prove me wrong. That JE person will never meet my twin sister in person. Or they ain't gonna be friends, you know. Um, so that's how it is with the damn bullying. That I'm supposed to keep my mouth shut while they can air out whatever lies that they can think of. And then David Jane was on my twin sister's channel. I mean, if I would have never told her about him standing me up that night, she would never know who he is. So David Jane tried to lie, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, David Jane tried to lie and say that there was a pastor, one of his favorite pastors died, and I said I'm glad that he died. Like, that never happened. What favorite pastor are you talking about? So David Jane, he does substance abuse, like he's an alcoholic and smokes weed, and I don't know what other drugs he might do, but you know, David Jane, he's not that, slow or whatever. But, people call him slow and retarded, but he's considered retarded enough that, people, if people call me retarded and take advantage of me, people will exploit and take advantage of him too. So then, I mean, I don't even know if he might be an unpaid perp because, or he might just simply be, a flying monkey. Because the narcissistic abusers, they always tell their victim, you burned your bridges, or everybody has washed their hands of you. And it's like, but you can go around destroying people. And it's like, no wonder why people never believed in me or my twin sister growing up. Because the stuff she knows she did to me, she would reverse and lie and say I did to her. And play victim and cry, saying, oh, she did this to me, she did that to me. But then like to authorities, she would cry and play victim. Like the teachers at school or the foster mom or whoever, or the psychiatrist or whoever's supposed to be in quote unquote authority, because the foster mom is not legit authority because she stole us. Foster care is fake. They shouldn't even be called legal just because it's associated with the law, just because it's allowed. But you know what? It should be illegal. Kidnapping, snatching kids away, for the purpose of programming and brainwashing and abusing them. And you try to break my soul, fracture my soul at a young age by forcing me to eat out garbage cans and because like somebody said, no wonder you try to kept setting the garbage can on fire. You got tired of being forced to eat out the damn thing. And so I thought that was really funny. So being forced to eat out the garbage can, being forced to sleep outside, being locked up in small janitorial closets and locked up in a hot laundry room, physically abused and beat on. And then I ended up, doing stuff to other kids. Like they have, I don't remember doing this, but in kindergarten they have on my records that I try to pluck another kid's eyeballs out. Um, but they didn't question what was going on in the home while I was, doing that to other kids. You know, but nowadays I wouldn't want to bite anybody or try to pluck their, try to take their eyeballs out or anything like that. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And so I researched some MK Ultra and satanic ritual abuse. Some people have it worse than others, but the SMART, those are taken down, but I still have somewhere in my computer files, not on my computer, but on some external hard drive somewhere. Um, or there's a torrent about ritual abuse, and I found it on the In the Know 7 WordPress blog. I have to. I mean, if y'all are interested, I can go look for it. Um, and I can do a separate video posting the link. And well, I'm gonna do it. I can do that anyway. For any of y'all who want a copy and who have torrents downloaded on your computer or your phone or your tablet, um, if y'all or iPads or whatever, if y'all are interested, um, it on the researching ritual abuse, and your mind being fractured and split. um I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was little, and you know some people say you're not going to remember early childhood sexual abuse, but I really don't remember being molested as a 2 and 3 or 4 years old. Excuse me. But people will say that the foster mom pitted me and my twin sister against each other, um, so that one would be the sellout and the other one would be the target. I mean, or be the sacrifice. You know, I don't believe that the biological mom Frances put us in this or put me in the program. I think it was the foster mom, because ain't no way I'm gonna be 22 years old and you're still trying to control how I should dress and wear my clothes, and I mean wear my hair, what I should eat, what I should spend my money on. And while the other foster boys who were underage, and I'm of age, and they were underage, and she allowed them to just do what the fuck they wanted because they were boys. That was her excuse. So I'm not that good with that. So it's like I wish that my twin sister would stop doing that. Stop. I mean, acting like she's gonna. Whenever I speak out on, I mean, if she can say like have um so many videos full of lies about me, but then if I do a video speaking, explaining that I didn't do these things that she was falsely accusing me of, then then she want to threaten suicide. That's not fair. And some people say that she's doing that to manipulate me and to try to keep me in line or try to keep me under control. But hey, if this is part of the gang stalking, I gotta talk about it. But some people making like, oh, because it's family, it should be off limits. Well, y'all ain't telling her that, you know. And there were some other targeted individuals who would show or tell about what their family members are doing to them, and they get support and they get consolation, and they get closure. But when it comes to me, I'm supposed to be just left all to myself and nobody want to hear it, you know. Or they handpick what things to be selective and supportive about. But they want this campaign to silence me. Either they silence me by ignoring me, like I'm the criminal, like I'm the bad one, or I'm the one who's out of my fucking mind, or they like they ignore me, or they block me. You know, fake TI perps, they block me. You know, and even some so-called real TIs aren't supportive of each other, or handpicked or selective of what to be supportive about. Um, or you know, I've had to cut some people off for they profess to be targeted, but it seems like the so-called targeted friendship is one-sided. That I have to listen to you for 4 hours on the phone and then be forced to tolerate the background noise of like your perp dad blasting the TV, or something like, oh, my stomach all of a sudden hurts. I mean, if your dad is a gang stalker and he blasting the TV and I have to hear it, or if your perp brother is blaring loud music, or if they smack, or if the so-called, you know, the person smacked their food in my ear, you know, they'll get annoyed if I tell them, you know, can I call you back, or can you call me back when you're done eating, you know. Um, and so, you know, I hate that I can't be open and nice and trusting and friendly. Now everybody just, you know, fake mourned Lisa T.I., and now nobody cares anymore. Like it's swept under the rug. Like nobody's talking about Lisa T.I. much anymore. And people are not taking me seriously when I say the fake T.I. perps. They ignore me and don't take me seriously when I say that the fake T.I. perps want to try to lure me into human trafficking. They say you're already being trafficked and put on a dark web, if you're a targeted individual, and that's why the perps can film you. But when you film what they're doing, then you get criminalized. It's not fair. It's not right. So only God is the one who can be the true and righteous punisher. But you know, I see it happen all the time. Like I didn't watch the actual video, but I scrolled through the comments and I clicked on it. The video that's called Pet T Blog, and said that how a girl who works for DoorDash delivered food to somebody that was a manager at CVS, and the CVS manager was crooked enough that she marked the food undelivered and got the food for free, and she lied, and so then the DoorDash girl lost her job and was not allowed to explain herself. And I'm like, that's why people, it just made me so mad, you know. So like, how the hell people like that, because you're a narcissistic abuser, or you're a fucking sociopath, that you freaking get high, if you're a crook like that, but you get high position of a manager at CVS, but this is what you do? How do they even allow this? But honest, hardworking people like me, you know, get blackballed. Yeah, so it's like, even oh well, I forgot to say that Stars 15K, when she tried to call me, I mean she tried to text me and say, you better keep my name out of your mouth. But yet she's always defending my twin sister, and she would always go on Twitter even after I left and saying stuff about me. So I better keep your name out of my mouth, but you keep following and stalking and harassing me on every social media network. And you keep doing stuff to me, but you don't want. I mean, that's not the perps. They do all this cruel stuff to you, and you're not allowed to speak out on it. You're not allowed to speak up about it. I mean, even Alex will start to stalk, harass, and follow me and terrorize me, and then I can be just looking at the time, and he'll automatically be paranoid and straight call the police. Or like there'd be moments before I even know he's there, and before I'm just barely turning the corner, and he's already calling the police on me, telling me the police got you under surveillance, and then tell me the police says you're crazy because I won't fucking sell my soul and become a prostitute. And y'all want me to be, they so badly want me to be a gang stalker that they lie on me and say that I gang stalk people. As far as I know, after the 21st, I'm supposed to be back on the streets. And then, I have to suffer I can stick it through, having like about $30 more or less, maybe $30 or $40 to stretch until then. And then, as far as I know, be back on the streets. And it's like keep switching between being warm and cold or rainy and stuff like that. Like it rained Saturday night, but I wasn't sure if it rained last night. And last night felt good outside. It wasn't even that cold. It wasn't even cold at all. So it was warm enough. It was kind of hot in here, and it was warm enough that I had to turn on the AC, and it's December. But I like this kind of weather. I like it like this. I don't like it when when it was the first time. It was later at night, like 11 o'clock, and it was 71 degrees, and it's December. I like that, but it looked kind of like it was gonna rain, and it was windy last night and stuff like that. So I mean, that's like, see, when I was a child, and I was even as far back as elementary school, if the foster mom was abusive and we go to school and tell what she did, we would get punished even more. Or we would be punished for telling the psychiatrist what she did to us. Like, one time, I didn't even tell on the foster mom. Excuse me, but the 23-year-old Michelle Estopanol, when I was at 8 years old in third grade, I used to call her Miss Estupidol. And she was mean as fuck. Very evil. But then I realized, because she was still young. Miss Michelle Estopanol, she would make up lies on me too. Like, she lied on me and said that I destroyed the bulletin board. And she would lie. I mean, a lot of my teachers used to lie on me. And the kindergarten teachers even said false things about stuff I knew wasn't true. And even that when I was in fifth grade, that special ed teacher, Mr. Mitchell, was lying. Glenn Mitchell, he was lying on me too. And I don't even know if I can get around to it. If I can read some of the IEP, the special ed IEP, the horrible stuff that they said about me, just making like I'm just such a bad character in fifth grade. But they the ones who had me on psych medication. Well, the foster mom and everybody, they had, their minds. Come to think of it, I'm wondering if I was targeted before ninth grade, if I've been targeted even in elementary school, in kindergarten. As I said, who the fuck makes up lies on a 5-year-old baby? But hey, the independent fundamental Baptist cult, they believe in spanking 6-month-old babies for crying for, some milk, because they're hungry. And then I'm like, that's too extreme. I mean, 6-month-old baby can't do wrong. They're helpless and innocent. A 6-month-old baby cannot do wrong. It's impossible. They cannot do wrong. But they've justified like crazy stuff. Like they think that satisfying your husband sexually when he wants is more important than feeding your 6-month-old baby, because they feel like spare the rod and spoil the child or whatever, or something like that. So that's where the people who do part of the independent fundamental Baptists, that's what they're in the error. That I mean, they just exploit and take advantage. And I guess a lot of narcissistic abusers are drawn, narcissistic men are drawn to that denomination or religion or whatever. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that your husband's sexual needs comes before feeding a 6-month-old baby. And so that if a woman makes more money than the man, that she should hand over all the money to him and allow him to have the authority to control it. But then they said, oh, if you make more money than him, then even if you work inside the home and he works outside of the home, then if he they'll be like, well, if he waste if he wastes the money on alcohol or gambling or something like that, don't condemn him or don't rebuke him, then you should just go to God and pray about it. I don't know, but I'm sorry, it kind of got off topic, but I mean, it's just the idea of I mean, I guess 5-year-olds, they're capable of doing wrong, lying, stealing, or whatever, but they try to make it like I was this devil child. But we had all this abuse done to us. I can remember as early back as like 2 or 3 years old. Um, and like I've experienced it and experienced it with other babies. Like if you're 2 years old being potty trained, and the fake foster family and other like New Orleans people, they whip the 2-year-old child and make it like you did something, like the baby did something bad. If the child is being potty trained and you whip them, excuse me, because the child accidentally made doo-doo on themselves. Maybe the child ain't ready yet, but you make like the child is such a bad person, a bad baby, because if they didn't get the hint yet. And I felt bad that when I was a child and growing up, me eyewitnessing other people, I used to be cruel to the animals too and didn't know. I mean, so if they pulled the dog by the ear and they were grown adults, or if they pressed the dog on a pressure point, shucks, they used to do us the same way. And so if you go and like they take the dog and pull it by not just its fur, but its fur and its skin by the back of the head and drag it, and then force the dog to sniff its doo-doo, and then you take newspaper and then beat it on the nose, And they use that to justify potty training the dog. But I'm like, there has to be a more humane way to do it. You know, but I didn't. I mean, I didn't know. I was 22 years old and didn't realize that the dog could die. I didn't do it on purpose, but I didn't realize that. I forgot because I heard once when I was little, but it went over my head, and I forgot all about it. That you're not supposed to feed the dog chocolate. So the dog survived, and but I mean, if I would have known that or remembered that, I wouldn't have fed the dog the Nutella, and they threatened to report me for abuse. But how the hell they did that? I mean, it was unintentional, and I didn't realize. But I've seen the foster brother-in-law Brian. He did that, and I'm like, damn, they care more about the dogs and animals than us foster kids. Because even Brian used to physically abuse and beat on the white foster boy Richard, and he beat and choked Richard, and Richard wasn't even that much of a bad person, but he was considered one of the foster boys that Anne didn't like for whatever reason, because he was seen as quote unquote retarded. But Richard wasn't really, really that slow or nothing like that. And then they used to try to make a fool out of Nick. Nick was 8, but everybody thought he was 12. He was big and tall, and he talked like a 2-year-old. And they used to try to use Nick and Richard as a weapon. Like the foster mom used, I guess the foster boys who the foster mom couldn't use to perp me. I guess those were the ones who she hated. Like she hated them so bad and hated them as much as me. I mean, even my twin sister said that she told me quite a few stories about after we turned 18. She told me quite a few stories about the foster boys that the foster mom has choked. She said the foster mom choked the foster boy Cody, and I think there was a white foster boy named Ryan that the foster mom choked, and she choked a few other people. But the ones who she used to perp me, who were seen by society as mentally normal, are the ones who, those are the ones she showed favoritism towards, and they were free to do whatever, and she treated them like her own biological kids. They had much freedom and rights and much love as her biological kids and grandkids. But my twin sister, like, she lied on me. I didn't hear until 2013. I didn't even know that false rumor was swirling around about me. That she lied on me and said that I was in the closet with the foster boy Cody. Doing what? Because that never happened. And you can't prove it. So, unfortunately, when the biological sister Ramona, I nearly died in 2005 before Hurricane Katrina. It was February 18th, 2005. And I added up the numbers. The numbers add up to 5. I mean, add up to 9. Well, let me think. Yeah, 18 and then 9. Yep. So then exactly, I mean, Ramona tried to set me up in that. I didn't realize she was trying to sacrifice me and try to set me up to die in a car accident. And I didn't catch on or realize until years later. So then, exactly 10 years later, I freaked out and I bust out crying because it was February 18, 2015. I found out the foster boy Cody died in a car accident. And I'm like, this can't be. Wow, on exactly 10 years later. But I don't know if he was driving or if he was the passenger. Um, but it seemed like Cody was the very first foster boy that the foster mom got after we turned 18, and she couldn't get him fast enough. Like, damn, like I've been gone off to college, and then I guess by October or something, was I think it was October when she got Cody, and then she tries, oh, that's your little brother, whatever, and he's supposed. Well, I aged out of foster care. I'm not your foster child no more. So what do you mean that's my brother? You know, when he was white and I'm black, how's that my brother? But th- it's like, but I also was like excluded from family functions and treated like I'm clearly not family in both foster and biological family. But the biological family never really had any weddings, or I mean, well, like maybe they did, because I don't know how Dirty Derica got married, but I didn't hear of a wedding, but I heard that they got married, and him and Sean got married the same year. And Sean, I'm like, whoa, Sean got married, and I figure, well, if Sean can get married, then there should be hope for me to get married one day. But the woman just took Sean for his money and then left him high and dry. And then the biological brother Wyatt, was showing me a couple of pictures and laughing at the way the white woman, the way she looks and everything like that. But I don't know. But now it seems like they have Sean and Do. They have them perping me now. Because the biological mom, Frances, used to put a wedge between me and Sean by lies and false rumors, and too embarrassing to even talk about. And it's like, she wants to keep us divided. And, you know, but it seemed like Sean was the only sibling that I had the most potential to be close with, because even though I have a twin, but me and Sean were the most similar, you know, and, you know, when I rented the car in 2017 and I called myself trying to treat him for his birthday and trying to buy him clothes, and I wanted us to all go to the food bank and also sit down and have breakfast, and he acted, very mean and angry towards me. And like Ramona and Sean, they had all that time before. I said, whatever y'all do, please don't eat in the like, even it was a rental car and I didn't want them to mess things up. And Sean, he freaking spilled the drink on purpose in the car and then try to play it off like it was accident. They wait till after I drive off to start smacking their food, smacking on donuts and Coke, and I mean, we're drinking Coke and smacking on donuts. And so me and Sean got into a heated argument over that. And Sean was like, I'm older than you, yeah, God. I'm like, but y'all, they're trying to set me up to wreck on purpose, trying to set me up to wreck. Because and then people would use that to say, well, you don't have the mentality or the sense to drive. Like, what is I thought it was disrespectful to eat in somebody's car anyway. And that wasn't my car; it was the damn rental car. And then people would be like, well, if they do something, you're responsible. So it's like they wanted to take advantage of that on purpose to blow my chances of renting a car again. And Ramona and Sean would, smacking their food. You know, it's like all the times I've tried what I can, to do nice things and, try to be nice and respectful and want to be helpful. and they take advantage of and exploit that. I was trying to, even though it was belated, but I was still trying to, make up for trying to treat Sean for his birthday and stuff. You know, they'll try to make it like as if Sean is bipolar or whatever, but as children, Sean had it the worst. And they'll try to make it like he's so retarded and mentally slow and everything, but they did this to him. The foster care system did this to Sean. They did this to him. You know, and he used to be more outspoken about his foster care abuse experiences, but now he'll be more quiet about it. They try to make him shut up. Like even the biological sister Ramona tried to force Sean to be quiet about telling people about his foster care abuse experiences in the group home and what Mickey did to him and the people in the group home what they did. I freaking hate Mickey. She's so damn evil to the core and wicked. And then people you end up being blinded. Like when I was younger, I mean, the color struck bandwagon and colorism and texturism and stuff like that. I was, blind to that and following, wishing I was light skinned or wishing, or they say colorism, texturism, and featureism. Now, I mean, because they have some people who might be brown skinned with green eyes, and they can be like ugly as fuck. But because their eyes are really light, people will be weak over them or crazy over them, or they can get all the girls that they want because their eyes are light or whatever. But they be a narcissist like Dirty Derek. Derek has the lightest eyes out of us siblings. He has eyes similar to the biological mom Frances, like really light eyes, but they're not green, but they're just very light brown. And everybody, I mean, if he ain't that cute, but if everybody sexually want him because of his eye color, and he physically abuses and beats on women, and my brother Wyatt, the other brother Wyatt, he would ignorantly laugh and say that Derek likes to do nothing but that he likes to date linebackers because he will prefer to be like, I'm short. I'm only 5'2", and if you see my kind of fat, he like girls that's my size and dark brown skin and like almost 6 feet tall. Those are the kind of girls he likes. Like girls taller and bigger than him. Like that's his specialty for whatever odd reason. But he would take and physically abuse and beat on them. Like that girl Jasmine. But Jasmine was skinnier than me, but she was like tall. Like she was taller than him. Like I think she was 5'8" or 5'9" or something like that. And I don't know if it was true, but it was a talk of the family that she had herpes. And that Derek was physically abusing and beating on Jasmine. Saying, "Oh, I'm a dead man walking." So when I confronted my twin sister about it a few years ago, she swore up and down and lied and said she wasn't the one that told me that. Which, in fact, she was. She did tell me that. And now she tried to make it like she tried to gaslight me in front like she got total amnesia. Sorry, y'all. So it's like, she didn't start doing that till the foster family started doing, "What? I never told you that." So like the foster brother Joe and the foster mom Ann, they'd be like, "I never told," and then the foster sister Shelly tried to do that too. It seemed like narcissistic abusers, they all worship each other and try very hard to be like each other. And you wonder, it seems like they got clone spirits or something like that, that it seems like the same one person in multiple different human bodies, So, if I was a true narcissist, trust me, wouldn't I have the things that I want? The things that I dream of in life? But nowadays, I don't even care about, um, you know, I was just thinking back on if my mindset, no, they keep doing this. If my mindset was on, you know, still striving for the American dream, I would think, I guess they must using that to try to tell me, Candy, okay, it's time to shut up. You talk too much. Now they get by me and they stop. Or they must use that to let me know that they're listening. I don't care because y'all, I'm not doing or saying anything wrong. Y'all, it's y'all who the devils. You know, if narcissistic abusers can be free to do and say what they want, but my life has to be so restricted. But I mean, if I, if my mindset was the way it was when I was 19 and 20 years old, my dream car would be, you know, the purple brand new Navigator or a purple Cadillac XT5, not XRX, but XT5. Or, but I never even got to drive a luxury vehicle. Never. And the closest to any luxury I ever got to drive was when I rented the Chrysler PT Cruiser convertible. I rented that. Oh. My sister Ramona, she exploited and used me with that too. She invited herself all. I mean, if I didn't have if I didn't have a way to, she wouldn't even been able to get to go to that housewarming party or whatever, where I felt just disconnected from everybody and unwelcome. Feeling unwelcome. I didn't know anybody there, and Ramona Force dragged me to this damn party, all the way in Slidell, and and she invited herself. That man didn't invite her to the housewarming party, and she would, just because she would be mostly at home. But whenever they would exploit and take advantage of me, she would be the only one who would try to use me for the car. She didn't know how to drive, but she would use me to take her different places. But most of the time, she would stay at home, and she wouldn't use her daughter or other people for rides or nothing like that. But they would just take advantage of me while huddling behind my back. Huddling together and sneaking behind my back and try to lie and say that I don't have the mentality to drive. But if you think I don't have the mentality to drive, or you think that I can't drive, but then I'm the first one, you want me to give you free rides everywhere. Or that's like when you falsely accuse me of being, like the foster sister Shelley falsely accused me of being a pedophile, or any other person. Okay, well, why you always want me to babysit your kids then? And babysit for free if you falsely accuse me of molesting your kids? Ryan and Alex are now adults. You can sit them down and be like, well, has Candy ever Candy ever, touched you in a sexual way? And they'll be lying if they say yeah. They're adults now and grown enough to have a mind of their own. But, I'll be shocked if they got scared and manipulated into saying yeah. Even though I guess it's possible for them to, be manipulated. But I figure if Ryan is supposed to be, I don't know how old he is. Oh, okay, I think he should be like 20. Wow, already 23 years old. No, I don't think. Wait a minute. 7 plus 3. Yeah, I guess he's 23 years old. A 23-year-old guy, I mean, you know, or else if he wants to be part of that campaign too, to lie and be like, oh, but God knows that I never. But I mean, Shelly didn't falsely accuse me of molesting her kids, but they try to falsely accuse me of molesting the foster mom and the foster sister Shelly. You know, they create, and my twin sister would do that too, create a new lie on me on purpose to try to keep me in line during an argument. And then they'll keep that smear campaign and lie up. But, they lied on me and said that they waited till after Richard and Nick were gone. Now, Nick and Richard were both considered, mentally handicapped or mentally disabled or whatever. And they would have been like, they would have frightened and intimidated and manipulated them into lying on me. But they waited till after Nick and Richard were gone to lie on me and say that that Richard and Nick told their therapist that I was touching on and molested them, which never happened. So, I mean, that's why I even, have fear of being around kids and children nowadays. I don't understand why, because that's what, I heard that they're making up all these lies on you because that's what they're guilty of. And then they front like narcissistic abusers. They front like they're perfect. And people like Shelly was like an in-person version of Stars 15K. Her and that retard Ramona. Just fucking atrocious. So I'm tired of being forced to, if people ain't trying to force me to shut up, then, they ignore me. They use those, ways to silence me from speaking out, or they'll try to guilt trip me and sometimes use the Bible to try to guilt trip me into shutting up. Like, they'll use Philippians 4 and 8 to try to, get me to shut up. Now, they had this lady that was abused by Lisa Ruby. Her name was, I don't want to say her name, but her blog was Galatians4.blogspot.com. And she shut that blog down because she was abused by Lisa Ruby. And the Galatians 4 lady, she had a post on there saying scripts used to silence Christians. When Christians try to speak the truth. And some people try to make it like as if Christians should not research conspiracy theories. But the Bible itself exposes what people would call conspiracy theories. So they would have called Jesus a conspiracy theorist. I have on my Truth DVD for Christians, a website, and you can look it up online, psychiatrists called Jesus paranoid schizophrenic, but Jesus wasn't a paranoid schizophrenic. He is God in the flesh. He's God the Son. And he was the only one who can faithfully, do his heavenly Father's will. We slip and make mistakes. And so I'm done with this particular topic. I just was talking about how I wish that I can, free to have my voice, free to use my voice and people will listen for me to clarify the lies and slander, and for me to speak the truth, and for me to talk about my targeting. If other people, including the fake TI purpose, are free to say what they want, they're all on Twitter barking every day like dogs, talking about what's being done to them, or what they claim is being done to them, but they just fake actors and try to make it like they're going through way worse than what you're going through. Like as if your problems or your targeting is irrelevant and that you should be quiet. Or, somebody's a fake TI perp when they're being like, oh, be quiet. You're making the targeted community look bad. Or, you know, you should stop saying that or stop doing this because you're making us look crazy. You're not a real TI if you're gonna if I expose the trauma and the harassment and abuse done to me, and then you say stop doing that, it makes you look crazy. So real TIs who are real persecuted Christians wouldn't care, and they would. I mean, the Bible commands us to expose wickedness, expose evil, whether it's done to us or other people. Speak out. So thanks for listening. I love y'all, and bye.